Welcome today. Welcome today to Facebook Live with Bipolar Solutions. I'm Bob Kulish, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about how you can know if a loved one that's ill with bipolar disorder is taking their meds or if the meds are working properly. Now, there's a couple of things that I really want to impress upon you today. One is, never assume that your loved one isn't taking their meds. It's better to ask or wonder if the meds are working instead of whether they're taking them or not. And let me give you some tips on how you can know whether they're working or not without even asking your loved one if they're taking them. But before I do that, let me just remind you that I did build a course that goes into this a little bit deeper and has a lot more tips in it. So if you want to check that out, go to bipolarcourse.com and you'll find out more information about the course. Okay, so this is what you can do. If your loved one has any symptom of mania or depression, then the treatment isn't working properly. Now, the treatment can't really eradicate or eliminate every single symptom to completely eliminate them, but they can minimize them or they can eliminate quite a few. So let me give you a couple that are going to be very obvious. If your loved one is in a manic state, they're going to be very talkative. And I've talked about this before in other Facebook Lives. Talkative means that they just can't stop talking. And they talk about random things that just come to their head and they never circle back to anything. And they'll talk about 4 or 5 or 6 or 10 topics, it doesn't matter. And they talk and talk and talk, and they don't let anybody talk. They don't let anybody talk. And if you do try to talk, they're going to talk over you. And they're going to get irritated that you interrupted them. And they're just going to keep talking. And they have what's called pressured speech. They can't even stop themselves from talking. It's part of the illness. So if they're very talkative, which they will be if they're manic and the meds are not working properly, then the meds are not working properly. Then you'll know. You don't always assume they're not taking them, but definitely something needs to be adjusted. And that might be the best approach with your loved one. You might just say, I notice that you're a little bit more talkative than normal. I'm wondering if the meds are working or not appropriately. And maybe that might be something that you want to talk to your doctor about. I'm just passing that on. I wouldn't direct them to do anything because as you know, that's going to always end up in a fight. Another great tell, if you want to call it that, about depression, not a great one, just one about depression, is if they can't get out of bed. If they can't get out of bed, they just cannot get out of bed because they're depressive, their antidepressive meds are not working properly. And it's just, nobody wants to get out of bed when I'm depressed than me. Nobody wants it more than I do, but I can't. And that's when my meds are not working. And I know I need to go talk to my doctor about that. So if they're sad all the time, that's another great tell. If they're sad all the time, and if they can't get out of bed, then their antidepressant it's not working. Treatment needs to be adjusted. Okay, and this is where I go into this a lot more in the course that I mentioned that you can find at bipolarcourse.com. This is why I cover this in detail, because it's important to be able to help your loved one see that they have these symptoms and that they can share that with the doctor. Another one about mania is that they might be very impulsive. They just do things on a whim, and they do things without thinking. They do a lot of what people call jump and then look. They'll do impulsive spending. Might be another characteristic or another symptom that you'll see that's very common when we're in mania. So look for these symptoms. Look for the couple that I just mentioned. Oh, another great one for mania is if they don't want to sleep. If they're not sleeping very long and they don't want to sleep, I get to the point where I hate sleep. I think it's the biggest waste of time when I'm in mania, and I'll say stuff like that. So when I'm saying stuff like that, my meds are not working. enough. And that's a great tell for me that I need to go see my doctor and explain that to him or her. So things like that you want to be looking out for, and be careful. Please be careful not to accuse your loved one of not taking their meds, but just address it as if the meds are not working properly. And I hope that helps. Please comment, ask me questions in the comment section of this post, and I'll look forward to seeing you on our next video. All right, take care, and bye for now.